Us, how you all doing? Great to see you again. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a while. It's been about a year, I think, hasn't it, mate? About a year or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
It says a year, but it might be a bit less. But
I think so.
it's lovely to see you.
Yeah, mate, likewise. It
Lovely
really
to see
is,
you. You've got a new band, Napalm Don't?
Yeah, exactly. Well, do you remember back in the day, I used to kind of mess about with stuff like that? I thought, oh, why not? You know what I mean? Playful, mate, playful.
Yeah.
I should plug in so I don't run out of battery power like halfway through. Be a good idea.
Don't want that.
Right, that's done.
There you go.
Right,
got to say, and I'm sure everyone's thinking the same thing as I am, but you're looking fantastic.
Thanks, mate. That's very kind.
No,
likewise,
What?
Yeah. No, I feel good, man. You know what I mean?
I mean, any like secrets? Just the bike riding, or like anything?
The bike, obviously, probably, as far as I know, so I could vegan diet, strict one, and oh, hang on, mate, the dentist is just calling me. That's good time. I'm just going to answer the phone. This is good for the cast.
Yeah.
Hello, Julie. You all right? Good. Yeah, I'll be in tomorrow. Yeah, that's the one. Nice one. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks, Julie.
Sorry about that, mate. Yeah, it always happens at the worst time.
What are you getting done?
I just got a checkup because I had to have 6 months ago, because obviously we couldn't go to the dentist for a couple of years, because of COVID. I ended up having quite a bad cavity and had to have a right load of work done. And it bloody killed me financially, to be honest. But
I've heard it's a little bit. It's like things have gone a bit crazy with the dentists and stuff over there. The prices.
Yeah, it's really typical. I mean, we've had I'm sorry, I'm going to get a bit political now, but we've had a conservative government for the last 12 years.
Yeah.
So of course, any form of potential public service is right down the toilet. So you can't get a national health dentist like for anything. I tried and I just couldn't get one. So I had to have a load of work done, and to be honest, because I had that work done, which was completely necessary, because basically it was about to what I had was about to go into my beyond my gums, into my cavity, into my.
That can be
I had to have it done, otherwise I'd have had to go into surgery, at hospital.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, I've always looked after my teeth. I've always thought that if you look after your teeth, and you get checkups, then anything major is kind of minimised, because they can catch it early. Unfortunately, with not being able to go for 2 years, I ended up with this big old cavity, which I couldn't even feel. And then he just said, look, I've got to do this. We can't wait, So I'm going for a checkup tomorrow, just because I've got a crown in there now. So it was the cheapest thing I could do, And so it needs to get checked out so that it's set up properly and stuff. So sorry, everybody, about the,
I'm
dentist
people,
chat, but,
people tuned in for some dentistry. Dentistry. But going back to what you were saying, I've sort of been watching with absolute horror the things that have been unfolded, back in my place of birth, and where just absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, mate. Just it's
very sad to see.
Yeah. But sort of moving onwards a little bit,
Yeah. I was gonna, when we're talking about how good you were looking and everything, I was going to sort of touch on that a bit. I don't know if we should, but just like that whole period of COVID. I mean, I remember like the third or second. It's like, I can't believe we're still talking about this. We thought it would have been all over, and it's still sort of going on. And just, I mean, a lot of people have been really sort of badly affected, haven't they? And on the mental health side of things, I'm talking about.
Yeah. The thing is, it's not going away, man. It's
no.
Still, for people that are vulnerable, You know, you really don't want to be giving it to them, you know, if you can avoid it, you know. So yeah, I'm cautious with that. You know, I got my mum's got several things wrong with her. My dad actually died a couple of months ago, so
Oh, sorry.
it's just my mum. No, it's all right, man. You know, that's life and death's inevitable, isn't it? You know, but um, yeah, so you know, I don't obviously want to expose my mum to anything, especially with me traveling so much and being in so many places with lots of different people. You know, I
Yeah.
certainly wouldn't want well, my mum or anybody else, really. You know, so you know, still mindful about that stuff. Yeah, so. But back to the COVID, I think we spoke about this anyway. But you know, when the lockdown's on, it actually worked out all right for me because, like I say, I live on my own. I haven't got any dependents that I have to be concerned about per se. So,
Same.
so you know, I was doing a lot of biking, you know,
Yeah.
keeping fit and stuff like that. So yeah, just that really, you know.
Yeah. But the good news is you've been able to start gigging again, right? So you've done quite a lot of gigging since we last talked, right?
I mean, we actually started very early on when bands were still, even though they were allowed to,
Mm,
there was a lot of reluctance, you know. But we started like June last year, I think it was.
right.
A lot of bands still weren't. Do you know what I mean? But we were.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been all right. You know, we've done a few quite different things actually for us, and it's all gone all right. You know, the last US tour we did recently has been our first real headline thing. I mean, we don't do a lot of support stuff just because, you
Mm,
know, obviously Napalm being Napalm, it's it's a bit intense for a lot of bands to take on, you know. So we tend not to get asked, you know. But we've done a few things and it's worked out all right, you know. So.
but you didn't you did the thing with Arch Enemy and Behemoth, right? Is that right?
Yeah, that was a strange old thing. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, you know, before we did it, and we were going to be received. Obviously, it's it's probably a very different set of people that would normally come to a Napalm gig, you
Mm,
know. But I have to say, I mean, first of all, you know, credit where credit's due. They the two bands, you know, are obviously a lot bigger than us, treated us like really nicely. You know, I couldn't say anything but good
right.
things, you know, about the treatment that we received, you know. So, you know, we would treat it's how I would treat people, you know,
Mm,
you treat people how you would expect to be treated yourself, you know. So yeah, it was good, you know. I mean, there was quite a bit of you know, when we go to play in some places, there are like quite a few dumbfounded looks, you know. But you know, I think generally the whole idea is to musically and you know, ideas wise, is to get that out there to people
yeah.
that wouldn't normally, you know, off their own back come and see you, you know. So in that sense, it definitely worked, you know.
But you go back a bit with Michael, right? From
Yeah, I mean,
mm,
I always rib him, you know, about his old days, you know. But no, you know, he's actually a decent sort. He's quite shy, you know, quite a shy person actually. But and obviously, I don't know if you know this, but when I was spent a lot of time in Japan with
mm.
my ex girlfriend, Michael had started to see also a Japanese girl
Oh
who
wow,
he now lives in. I think it's Thailand. He lives in now. They
wow,
both moved to Thailand, you know.
wow.
So yeah, you know.
For anyone watching, we're talking about Michael Amott from Carcass and
Michael Amott,
Arch Enemy. I
yeah,
like the other band he has, that kind of more stoner rock band. Is it the Spiritual Beggars? I
yeah.
like them a
They did
lot.
some good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did some good bits and pieces. I
Mm.
don't know whether he's still doing that or not. He didn't mention it when he was on tour, you know. But,
I saw him in Japan supporting Ozzy and Motorhead at this thing in Kobe
oh,
quite a few
blimey,
years back. Yeah.
that must have been a while ago. Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah,
yeah,
about 10 years, maybe a bit more.
yeah.
But I tell you what, when I saw that tour lineup for that Arch Enemy Behemoth thing, I was really chuffed because there's a band I really liked that also were on that tour.
On to others.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really good band.
really nice gadgets, man. As well. Super nice gadgets. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought that was great that they were on that tour as well.
Yeah, we had a good time. You know, they had a
Yeah.
good time as well. You know, really, you know, sort of, I suppose, it's cliche, but down to earth, kind
Yeah.
of people, just
Yeah.
regular people.
But they had to like change their name. They used to be called Idle Hands,
Yeah,
and they had to change their name. I'm not sure why they had to change their name, but
yeah. I
yeah.
don't, I don't know whether they just did it just because they felt like it. I don't think it was because of any particular
Right.
sort of clash with another band or that kind of stuff that you hear
Yeah.
sometimes, which I always find a bit ludicrous. But there you go.
I think I've got this right. Didn't like you did that tour? It kind of tied in with the final throws tour. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it was basically, I think, the first thing we did after the mini album had come out. So yeah, well, actually, we did some UK dates, and then we kind of did. To be honest, I can't really remember the timeline, but
I couldn't figure out. I just got little bits. I couldn't figure out the timeline either. But
yeah, people always know better than me, to be honest. I have no clue usually. So.
But I did notice that you played with Final Conflict, right? On that.
Oh tour. Yeah. Well, Ron's obviously classic band. Like Ron's a really old friend of ours, and mine, and I suppose obviously, but
Yeah.
Yeah, we always try and drag them on with us wherever we're playing, So.
They just came to Japan a few weeks ago.
He told me. I saw him in Los Angeles a couple of weeks ago. They told me it was great. He told me some of the bands they were playing with. I was a bit jealous,
Yeah, they had the best lineups in every city, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually going to come over for that, but it just as it kind of it sort of clashed, with everything else. So I couldn't make it,
Well, they had Gizem on as well for the first gig.
Yeah,
in Tokyo.
I wonder how mad that was.
Well, I've heard a few things about it.
Right, I can imagine. Yeah. I wouldn't like to speculate, But
Sakabi sacked the guitar player like a bit before, so they didn't have a guitarist or anything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to name any names, but Ron did tell me a tale of one of the bands, like the singer or something, like smashing the guitarist in the face because he thought that he wasn't up to the task on the night. You know what I mean?
Sounds about right. Oh,
I mean,
yeah, I'm just thinking about who that might be, but I can't. I've got quite a good guess of who that might be. I couldn't go though, Barney. It was literally one of the only days of the year that I have to work on a Saturday or Sunday. It was the day that they played in Osaka. But
mate, what is it you do again? I don't know if you've ever really
just teach English at junior high school.
Oh right, yeah,
yeah. But every now and again,
quite a rare job for an English speaker in Japan.
Actually, I'm a dentist. Actually, that's one.
Right, yeah. You can do my teeth, mate.
Yeah, I was. But
Mates,
I would like to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But oh god, I've got all the things written down here. But you've just come back from the States, right, on that huge 1 month tour.
Yeah, 6 weeks. It was 6 weeks. Yeah. I
MDC.
mean, mate, you don't know. I mean, you don't know how much of a sort of. I was like a kid in a sweet shop. You know what I mean?
The record just. Remember when this came out? Like how fucking amazing it was when this came out.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dave, I got to say, Dave, what a lovely guy, man. And Al as well, the drummer.
Al was drumming from. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, talk about old school, man. You know what I mean? That's like.
Yeah, the last time they came to Japan, he wasn't drumming. The last time they came to Japan, he
right,
was with them.
Yeah. But mate, it was superb. You know what I mean? I mean, I've talked about. We sort of had a brief conversation about it, but I mean, this is nothing set in stone. But I might do a bit of a collaboration with them, if we can at some point, like me and Dave, or me and the rest of the guys, or something. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and I was talking to a mate of mine, Chris, who plays in Frozen Soul.
Right, yeah.
Did you have a chance to talk about Japan?
Yeah, we did. I know what you're going to say. Yeah, we were talking about a lot of different things like that.
Yeah, because they used to be in this band called Unit 21.
Yeah.
And they came to Japan and tour to Japan with all the good bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told me about a few things I didn't know about some bands. It's some pretty ripping stuff. I just wish I could remember the name of them. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. And Cryptic Slaughter, right?
Cryptic Slaughter, yeah. I mean, bloody hell. I mean, they
So
haven't done
I
anything.
got to get all the
Yeah,
records out. It's like,
yeah, mate. Oh well, you know that's how you roll. You know what I mean? So yeah. Well, I mean, great. They were great as well. You know. I mean, they hadn't done anything. I think these might have been the first gigs they've done for like years. You know what I mean? They were really good. Yeah. Again, you know, really nice people. You know.
yeah. I've got a mate called Rafa. He's a Brazilian guy. He lives in Japan.
Yeah.
Did you meet him by any
Right.
chance? He went.
Oh yeah. Well, I know all them Brazil. I don't wonder if it's the guy. Do you mean the guys in Tokyo?
He's sort of based in Nagoya. He's sort of turned his life around. He used to be a big drinker, and he's a bodybuilder now, and he does competitions and stuff. And he makes T-shirts, like Japanese hardcore T-shirts, and vegan leather patches of all the bands and stuff.
I think I know who you're talking about. There's so many people I know in Japan. I struggle to remember everybody. If I'm honest.
Yeah. So when did you get back from the States, Barney?
20th of November. Mate, I got really sick as well because I was already a little bit ill because the temperature just dropped in the States. It went from being really sunny when we're in Florida and it just dropped. And that's when I'm usually all right. I'm fairly resilient, but I got pretty ill, you know, and then coming back, I had to sit at Heathrow bus station for like 2 hours waiting for a bus back up to Brum, you know, to pick my car up from my mum's, you know, and mate, I just froze to death, and I just got really ill, and you know, so miserable for a few days, you know. So.
Yeah, so that's pretty much like the tour and stuff. But you've got a lot coming up, right? You've got a busy schedule.
Yeah, we've got this. We've actually got some more support stuff. You know, we're doing like next week. We're playing that band Volbeat, who I did a song with way back when.
That, yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect it, you know, but they asked us to we're opening on those dates in the UK, you know. So again, that's going to be hilarious, you know, because we're playing to a crowd that's even far removed from the things that we've already done. I mean, for us,
aren't you playing at Wembley and like things like that?
Yeah. In Bristol, actually, we're doing whatever the big venue is there, you know what I mean? And of course, it's going to be just Napalm Noise Attack, you know what I mean? Let's see what people make of that, you know what I mean? So,
you're mates with the members of the band, though, right?
Yeah. I co-wrote a song on one of the albums, the really big album, actually. And so I mean, again, you know, really just nice people, you know, you know, pretty sound, you know. So it'd be interesting, you know.
That band Skindred's doing it too, right?
Skindred's playing, who used to be, you know, back in the day. Of course, Doughboy, but before that, I think whatever it was, I think didn't have another name before that. And they were sort of on the punk side.
I don't know, but I always really liked this record.
Yeah.
Doughboy record, and
yeah.
It was all part of that the Newport sort of punk scene.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
Words
the area.
of Warning records and TJ's and all that kind of stuff. So,
exactly. Yeah.
That's a sort of that connection there for sure.
Yeah, it should be interesting. You know, I mean, for us, it's a breeze. It's like 30 minutes, you know, every night, just sort of opening up, and it's just going to be, you know, I think we've got like 20 songs, you know, good to go for that, you know. So.
Man, see, not to go back to the Japan thing again, but we sort of never get anything like that over here.
Yeah,
we've got the big festivals and everything with like.
I mean, it's
every band.
I mean, like Australia, I guess for a lot of bands it can be tricky because the flights are expensive.
Yeah,
you know, if people need accommodation, you know, I mean, we get accommodation when it comes to jam, but I'm quite happy to crash at somebody's place. That's not a problem, you know. But I guess a lot of bands it's just logistically a little bit difficult, you know. And of course, as you know, mate, the thing with Japan is it's not like a lot of other countries. You don't just go, oh, I'm going to go and play some gigs there. It tends to be more of an invitation kind of vibe, you know what I mean? So it's a little different. So I think you can have, it seems to me, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can have whatever genre of music you're talking about, you can have two bands that sound very similar and have a similar approach. One band can be really well received in Japan. The other band could be like, who? Hey, what? Do you know what I mean? So it's like that, I think.
There's a lot at play there, like about relationships and and various other things. Yeah, so I feel like a lot of there's that thing with the kind of the venues and the promoters have very like deep rooted relationships.
Yeah.
So if you go through a certain promoter, then you're going to sort of have to play at the venue with that they've had these really close ties with for years and years and years and years, you know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, we like who are you using in Japan? This is like Smash West.
Yeah.
We've always been with them. I mean, their background was kind of indie punk. Not a lot of metal actually. There's some, you know, but mainly that. But we just stuck with them because they were just great people. You know, very, very, very good vision. No bullshit. None of this kind of. I mean, I will say this. It's an observation. You know, sometimes I've been in Japan with some promoters, and you kind of. It almost feels like a mafia arrangements, like it's sewn up, and it's like
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And people demand respect off you, and it's like, what? Sorry, you know what I mean? You know, it's like it's almost you have to be grateful to be doing, you know, to be, you know, sort of being accommodated by them, you know, and it's like, hang on, this is a two-way street, man. You know what I mean? So
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I've heard some just sort of horror stories about, you know, straight off the plane. Okay, this is what we're doing. Like, you know, we're going to this place, we're going to this place, we're going to this place. You know, we're taking you here, we're taking you there. It's like no like downtime.
Yeah,
and it's all connected with people that the promoter knows. And
sure,
like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and we don't get that, you know, because Nambu-san, who does us, completely understands, you know. But of course, you know, if we go to Japan, we are really grateful for it, you know, and happy to go. And, you know, if Nambu needs to do something for a particular reason, logistically or otherwise, not a problem. You know what I mean? It's just, I know what you're saying, though. It's like, God, I've just been on a 13-hour flight or whatever, you know, I need to like kind of get my head together a little bit, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, a mate of mine just interviewed the Pixies for his brother who wants the louder sound, some consequence of sound.
Yeah.
And he interviewed the Pixies, and they just said it was a bit of a nightmare, actually. Like they just didn't have any downtime, or they just herded from one place to another and with no explanation.
Yeah, which is weird because you would think with the Pixies, you know, I mean, what's his face? Frank Black.
Frank
I mean, apparently he's very like, this is what we're doing. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's why I was a bit surprised, but that even he was
to be kind of herded around. If that's like what I'm getting from that, it seems a bit strange. You know what I mean? But there you go. You know.
Yeah.
But you know, I will say though that I really miss Japan. I mean, we've spoken about it before. It's like my second home, you know, and not being able to go there for so long, I'm absolutely, you know, really itching to get back, you know. So we're in talks about. Sorry, go on, mate.
I'm going to save that for a little bit at the end. I've got a few things I want to talk about Japan.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Just before we do that, I wanted to. There's the Volbeat and the Skinja, but there's also Drop Dead. The Drop Dead.
Yeah.
Mate,
it's gonna be good.
You've been in touch with Brian. He sort of
I spoke to Brian. Yeah, he emailed me a few things. Yeah. It was just a bit of etiquette stuff, and I was like, mate,
that's what I thought.
I was like, mate, don't sweat it. You know what I mean? It's fine. You know. So and there's that other band, Escuela Grind, which is I think it's 2/3 female grind band. You know, which is. I mean, you know, I don't differentiate. A band is a band is a band, but, you know, it's nice to be able to support, you know, female-fronted art as well.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So,
the other band, I bought this record just purely because I saw them on the poster. I've never heard of them before.
Right.
But this Siberian.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ, this is a pretty interesting band.
Yeah. They have. I know them. I've met them before. I've seen them on other tours, and they're again nice guys. I mean, it's tricky for them because they're very kind of humanitarian sort of. I guess you might say like left-wing band, and they have some. From what I've heard, they've had some quite torrid times, being Russian, and playing around in Russia a little bit, So,
but it's funny though, because when I bought it, I sort of looked at the back, and one thing really sort of struck me was that it's on Destiny Records.
Right, yeah.
Which is that guy Michael Pollack who lives in Germany, and he put out the MDC records in Germany years ago. So again, it's that connection that.
Yeah, it all comes around, mate. All comes around. Goes
is he involved with Mad booking at all, Michael?
Yeah. It's kind of interconnected a little bit. MAD, sorry. Book Siberian Meat Grinder, Right. So it was a good thing for us to be able to bring them along, So
it
should be a good tour. I think it's
but that's kind of been postponed for a couple of years, right?
It got postponed, and then once you have postponements, you have the headache of trying to, if it's a good lineup, trying to get that lineup back, because understandably, of course, bands can't. But all bands tend to have, certain plans. Some looser than others, but they have a general plan, of what they need to do, and it's like, so then you can understand it when. A band goes, I can't do it now, because it's so. Then you have to kind of rejig the whole thing. But it works out really well. I think. I hope people would agree. So
because it was supposed to be Doom, wasn't it? And the first
Doom,
the first time
it was meant to be Doom, Full of Hell. That band, and that. So I don't know what Doom's doing at the minute. They're going to be quiet, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you can say this. I'm probably saying something but I heard. Dennis had maybe left or something. Did you know that?
Oh, I'm in sort of contact with him on social media, but he sort of hasn't said anything or mentioned.
Right, it's just what I heard on the grapevine. Again, I don't want to get involved in scurrilous rumor or anything, but I'd heard he just left, but it might not be right. But I was disappointed because I was really looking forward to him, because obviously we spoke about my personal relationship with Stick and that, down the years. So I thought that was going to be great, it's. Classic band from like those times, and then it couldn't happen, So.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a surprise for you. I think it's going to be a good surprise.
Go on then, mate. Yeah,
you ready?
He says with trepidation.
I'll bring him on. He's a good friend of yours and mine. Here he is.
Oh, blimey, there he is.
There he is.
Given the fucking game away now, I've spoken about it. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. You?
Were you listening from the start?
No, I said don't come in from the start. I had him
down. That's all right then,
yeah.
Nice to see you, mate.
Good to see you as well.
Yeah. That looks like a different kitchen, or rather, it is a kitchen that you didn't used to have.
No, I'm in the brewery right now, so I'm at work.
Oh, right. Mate, I don't recognise that.
Working.
Yeah.
And of
course, I've spent some time in there stirring, the concoctions,
That's kind of one of the reasons why I have him. Well, we have him on because he's a friend of ours, but I wanted to talk about the beer thing again because we talked about it a little bit before, but I think it's still a thing that a lot of people don't know about. So I wanted to sort of shine a light on the beer making thing again and get Randy's side of the story as well about the whole thing. So, Randy, when did it all come about? The beer and we got two.
Barney and I had talked about doing a beer together. Originally, the first one, the Continuing War and Hop Monotony, was done for when Napalm came over the last time. Right? Yeah. And we made a very small batch of it, sold some of it at the gig at Quattro, the rest of it in our tap room. And then when Corona hit, well, before that, we also did a beer together that we brewed, which was the beer that the other one.
Oh.
We made a small batch of that too. And yeah, we talked about maybe doing a bigger batch. And when Corona hit, we decided, hey, let's do it and get some money back to people. So, decided to make it a charity kind of thing. Yeah, we sold the whole batch.
Sunflower, wasn't it? Was it Sunflower, the homeless charity?
Second Harvest.
Second Harvest, sorry.
Yeah, Second Harvest, which gives money to homeless as well as single mothers or people who are victims of domestic violence and that kind of thing. So, yeah.
And did Barney, can you come over, right, mate, to help out with the making of the...
Barney helped with the first batch. Do you remember that, Barney?
Yeah, I do. I've still got the pictures of me sweating over a...
Are you saying there's sweat in this beer?
Sweating over a...
Not one.
Yeah, it was... I think people don't actually necessarily appreciate what goes into the brewing process, because I think a lot of people have even become slightly versed in beer as it is now, just think you just press a button and away you go after you've come up with the recipe. But it's not. It's so much manual stirring, cleaning, making sure everything's running in sync, checking temperatures, mixes, stuff like that. I mean, me and Randy we had discussions because I wanted all the beers to have no animal products in, be completely vegan. So we were looking at these new kind of clearing agents, which were like little white. Was it seaweed or was it, Randy, or some kind of seaweed?
Yeah, we used the cardigan, which is seaweed-based clearing agent in the kettle. And I actually stopped Tokyo Works from using gelatin within the first year because I just didn't want to use that as a clearing agent. I don't think it's a good idea. As well, it didn't make a difference, and I found ways to clear the beer without using anything at all. So, but yeah, I mean,
it was good. I learned quite a bit, definitely, so it was an education for me. And me and Randy, we spoke about it. We're going to do something again, obviously as soon as I can get over. And he's not letting things get in the way, such as getting married and stuff like that, then, I'm sure we can do something. But like in terms of the beer itself, much like music, I always want to do something that's not just the norm. Do you know what I mean? Not everyone else is doing. So the thought of doing yet another IPA or Simra, I understand the reason why those are out there en masse, but I just, if I was going to be attached to it, I just wanted to do something a little bit different. So we did a chili beer and we did a stout, because I think everybody knows about imperial stouts these days, but like percentage-wise out there, there's still not a huge amount of them compared to other things, So yeah, that's what we did, and then so we got to come up with some other ideas as well.
Yeah, and when it's not just the beer, though, right? As you were saying about the proceeds going to the charity, I think Randy sort of picked on, right?
Yeah.
Well, go on.
Yeah, Barney, please.
No, I mean, we spoke about it at length, me and Randy between ourselves, trying to figure something out. And I wanted it to go to something in Japan that doesn't often get attention, because I feel that in my experience, when I've been around a lot of homeless communities in Japan, I've stayed in places where the cheaper accommodation was, where there's a lot of homeless people and migrant workers and transient workers and stuff like that. And I mean, but somebody might beg to differ on this, but I've always felt that homeless people in Japan are almost ignored, in a lot of ways. UK, depending on who you speak to, that can also be the case. But I think there's more of a general understanding that people are people and they need to be helped. Do you know what I mean? If they haven't got a roof to put over their head or shelter or anything, they need to be helped, not just kind of ignored as detritus, human detritus that can just be kind of shoved in one area or shoved to one side. So and with single mothers as well, I think universally there's still a certain level of non-acceptance of that, and why should that be? That's in human terms, that's pretty horrendous, So we just wanted to, for our small beer in the grand scheme of things, just wanted to do something, that could raise awareness, hopefully, and a bit of financial help as well.
Yeah, your observations are absolutely right. It's kind of not talked about. It's swept under the carpet.
This is people that can. This is an obvious thing to say, but this is people that could. I know how cold it gets in Japan. I've been there when the bloody train tracks are frozen and all sorts, and people can die. If they haven't found a corner to sleep in that has protection. If you're lucky from anything, and I'm sure the Japanese police aren't too keen on accommodating them either, in on the street. So, it's a small thing, but I had to do something,
Yeah. Any info about like the future plans for the beer, or are you just still in the sort of
I think we've just spoke about it as we're going to do it.
Right.
Nothing concrete yet, because me and Randy actually, we haven't spoken for quite a bit, just because, because life and all the rest of it, So, but yeah, the times when we do speak, we've always said that we're going to do something else, And I'm really happy to. The company that Randy's involved with seemed great, very, very independent minded. They let Randy do his thing because he knows his stuff, and that to me is ideal. Yeah, they do though. Generally, I always found when I was at the tap room, and in back there,
No, I would hope in the future that we could do something do another beer with Tokyo Works, and then maybe the T-shirts through my own personal company that's trying to give back to charity as well, definitely. To kind of balance everything out. That again, keeping that win-win situation, as you said, that the customers win, the business involved win, charities win. If we have that situation, we're in a much better world, I think.
Yeah, you got to do what you can. It's it's perhaps a small thing, small operation, but everything counts. You know what I mean? It's just better to do it than not do it. Do you know what I mean? I would suggest. So
yeah.
I thought as we're all here together, we should have a little chat about Japanese hardcore. It's always good to talk about Japanese hardcore. I suppose the big news is that Gores are no more after 41 years. Quite shocking news.
Well, is it though? Because they weren't, as far as I understand it, they weren't doing a great. They haven't done a great deal for years. They were doing a little bit more recently, but not huge amounts. So yeah. I actually wasn't shocked when I heard they kind of called it a day.
Yeah, I think it was just like that thing where it's like 41 years, and then nothing. They're gone, and I saw a sheer from like Death Side Forward was posting about we must
stick
together to keep the future of Japanese hardcore going now that Gores have broke up.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere, is it?
I don't think so. No.
But I suggested from a friend of mine. I don't know how true this is, but an Indonesian friend is usually fairly got his finger on the pulse. He said he thought it might be something to do with Fugu's health. You know what I mean? He said perhaps his health wasn't so good, and But again, I don't know. That was just what I was told.
But that's actually the reason. Yeah.
Oh, that is the reason.
That is the
right?
Reason,
yeah.
So,
okay.
There's a few things I can't really say on here. But
no, not at all. I wouldn't expect to go into like real heavy detail. But
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Well,
it's a shame.
After 41 years, you expect that things like health would be an issue. And again, I respect the fact that they said if it's not the members we have right now, we're not going to do it,
Yeah.
which is very, very rare, especially when you see any band that lasts for X amount of years with the same members. Yeah, so they're not one of my favorite hardcore bands per se, but they've always been a band that is beyond respectable, and it's a shame to see them have to step down. But
yeah. I mean, I've got. I mean, we've spoke about it before, but I was very fortunate to see them in '88 with Chaos UK. You know what I mean? So, you know, I saw them then. They were great. I saw them in Tokyo with Randy actually a couple of times. They were great then. So, thanks for the memories. Do you know what I mean? They'll never be forgotten. You know, I hope that doesn't sound overly like sugary or whatever, but you know, they're always in the old brain box. You know. So.
Yeah.
Because of Gauze playing with Limp Wrist at Antinoch, you and I met. So
yeah, of course, yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Mate, happy memories, very happy memories.
Yeah, so what do you think next year, Barney? Napalm Day?
Yeah, Japan for us? Yeah, well, we're talking at the minute to Nambu-san to see when we can come. I mean, it's looking like it might be the end of next year because we've got so much stuff in the pipeline next year that it might be the end of next year. You know, and so we'll see what happens really, because what we tend to do is, because there's a lot of personal connections in Napalm and Japan. So obviously, Shane Madoka, Shane's wife is Japanese, you know, so we always try and do it so we can stay over for a couple of weeks. It's not, other things aren't interfering with that, you know. So probably touring end of next year, and you know, we're going to try and get the kind of lineup we've been speaking about again, you know. So looking forward. But I mean, on a personal level, I'm going to come over beforehand. I think it's just
We were talking about that before Randy came on.
Yeah, but I mean, Randy already knows anyway.
Okay.
Randy, for the benefit of everybody, Randy's getting married, so
getting married.
You know, I'm doing my utmost to try and maneuver my schedule in that direction, you know, for coming over. When is it again, mate? When's the actual wedding?
There's no actual wedding. We're getting married on Monday.
Yeah.
The actual signing.
Monday coming.
Yeah, next week Monday.
Blimey, newsflash. Yeah.
And then party wise, we're shooting for January, but it's all up in the air still.
In any case, mate, I mean, it's almost like everybody's listening to a private conversation. But in any case, mate, I'm trying my utmost to try and, you know,
for sure,
squeeze that time in there. But yeah, so I'm that's definitely being worked on as I speak. So
yep. And you have a place to stay in Tokyo for about $6,000 a night, no problem. I can sort out for you.
That's all good, mate, yeah.
So yeah,
mate. That's my specialty, staying in the cheapest, like dodgiest fucking places. You know what I mean? But no, I'm not talking about your place.
This one's not dodgy.
No, I'm talking about the places I stayed in the past, which are interesting, you know, to say the least. Yeah. But I slept with Randy's cat before, so that was great, you know.
Yes, great days.
Yeah. It was great. Me on the bunk bed. I don't think there was actually a bed in there. I think I did have a sleeping bag on the floor, and Randy was in the bed at the top, and the cat was just sort of free roaming around the bottom.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Happy days, mate. Happy days.
Happy days. There was one thing I was going to talk about, but it's a bit out of sync. But never mind. The new record, the Bad Brains cover and the Slab cover. I was going to sort of talk about what cover versions that Napalm have done over the years and like how you go about choosing them, that kind of thing.
Yeah, to be honest, mate, it's pretty much. It's like, shit, where's my tape box from 45 years ago? Oh, there it is. Scrape the mold off the outside of the box, open it up and just like find whatever you can find, And that's literally like that.
No, it was just funny because just showing that Cryptic Slaughter record and then looking at this.
Yeah.
The first song is the Cryptic.
Yeah.
Cover, so.
Yeah. It's a feisty one. That the song that we did. It's like the drums, are quite frantic. Not the Napalm isn't frantic anyway, but it's like it was quite difficult to nail. That first bit. So
yeah.
And then there's things like that come out of, it's like we did however people pronounce it, Ganks or Gianks or whatever. It's like I would have never have remembered that if I hadn't have opened up my 7-inch box and gone, oh, shit, Gianks, that's what I want to do. Do you know what I mean? So,
because I would sort of, as I was thinking about this today, I was like, wouldn't it be great to have like a Japanese hardcore covers thing?
Mate, I agree 100%. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like if you were to do it, like what would you do and that sort of thing?
Oh, well, there's all sorts, mate. First Auto record. I mean, we've already done a Gauzer one, we could do. We've already done a few SOB covers as well, but there's that. You could do the Stalin, you could do something like that. You could do, whatever, there's all kinds of possibilities,
Randy, you're going to ask Barney something? No.
Sorry, mate, go on, Randy.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, has Napalm ever considered doing non-punk covers in the sense of, like, going back to the 60s and 70s and again, I remember when I was growing up, my influence was from my parents, which is, 50s, 60s, and 70s, and there's a lot of great music from them too, that helped birth, the hardcore punk scene as well as the metal scene, as the grindcore scene, everything else came from that, initial old style rock and roll. Is there anything that you'd consider doing out of that kind of like?
Yeah, we just have to look at it first, Oh, definitely. I mean, there's bands, there's really, crazy experimental bands from the 60s and 70s. And I'm not talking about necessarily prog rock bands with 20-minute songs, you know what I mean? I'm talking about there was like kind of noise bands, from those times that were doing stuff that just wasn't even micro-analyzed, in terms of pigeonholing it at that point that was definitely be ripe for a cover. But we just have to look at it first, I mean, would I do something that was necessarily very well known, that was kind of I don't know really, was fairly standard? Probably not. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, you just have to look at it, before you do it, and then just make a decision, So
Fair enough.
Yeah. Japanese hardcore covers will be a good one.
Yeah, it'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Get some of the more obscure stuff in there as well.
So, as I started thinking about it, I just thought there's just so much,
I mean, I always wanted to do a Bastard cover, because I think that, what's it called? Winds of Pain. Winds of Pain, yeah. Something of that. I mean, I know it's fairly close to Napalm, that is, so it's probably kind of obvious, but I think we could do a like fairly ripping cover, one of their songs. It's not ripping anyway in the first place,
Yeah. I get the feeling we've got a lot of things we want to talk about that we better sort of off the camera.
No, it's all good. Mate, I've just got to nip away for 2 seconds.
All right, we'll hold the fort.
2 seconds, hold the fort and talk amongst yourselves.
What are you drinking there, Randy?
Drinking the Center Guy IPA, our flagship IPA.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got this. I like it though.
What is it?
It's the Suntory wheat beer.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Dude, simples are simples. I've been drinking a lot of and a lot of beers I've been making recently have been more simple, easy to drink, crushable styles. Just out of, that's what I want to drink.
Yeah.
And I will make it so good the customers will want to drink it too. And then,
I feel like there should be more Weizens though, just as a Weizen fan.
Yeah.
Not this time of year, but in the summer.
yeah, Weizens. There's not a lot of variety in a Weizen to where you want to go with that.
Yeah.
It's a well-made Weizen is a well-made Weizen, but after you hit that well-made Weizen, you cannot do 3 different versions of it that are awesome.
Right.
I mean, again, if you want to hit the proper style, those classic styles are hard for that reason to really tune it up and make it even better. We make an ESB, and it took me 2.5 years to figure out how to make it better.
Wow.
And I just kept the same recipe, kept going. And then it just kind of hit me like, nope, this, and this, these little things probably will sort it out. And it's so much better this time.
Right.
So,
mate, part of the reason for me disappearing is that I wanted to bring some props for a change.
Here we go.
I wondered if you knew anything about this. I just picked it up in Japan. Not in Japan, in the States. And it's like, I'm not sure who it is because the guys look kind of older on the cover now, but it's members of Auto, I think, and various other bands.
That is SHI.
Yeah.
So it's the singer of the singer is Cherry Sang, who was in Dance Macabre and Zorro.
Right.
And then
I just got given it in the States. So I was pretty chuffed. You know what I mean?
I think Mitchung drums on. That's like a compilation of the 2 7 inches, I think. Right?
Yeah. Shall I put it up to the camera?
Yeah. Just look at those. Jesus, there's so many people in the band. It's like
yeah.
They've got a theremin player.
Yeah.
As well.
And that's the
Mitchung joined recently, right?
No, Mitchung was in the band. Oh God, they've had like 3 or 4 different drummers now.
Yeah.
So they have Mitchung, and then they had Kago from like the Starling drumming from as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when I looked at the back, I'm like, I was trying to remember like photos from back, and I was like, I don't recognize, really these people anymore.
One of the guitarists is also from Zorro as well.
Right.
We've got 2 guitarists, and the other one is from some old like more punk rock bands, not hardcore.
I've heard it's really good. I haven't heard it personally.
They've got an album as well. A proper studio album. It's on Relapse as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think I know that kind of came about because Relapse wanted to do the Zorro reissue.
Right.
And they were like, well, you can, but you've got to put out we've got this new band as well that we want you to put out. So they put out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, Relapse will do that. If they think they can get one thing for another, they'll do it. Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. It's here somewhere, but they just put out the new Rocky in Sweden as well. Relapse.
Right.
I just saw Rocky in Sweden a couple of weeks ago with Final Conflict.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Did you go to which show did you go to? The Gizzard one?
Fever. Shindaitai Fever.
Okay.
Yeah. Dude, Rocky in Sweden was amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely untouchable, amazing.
Yeah. He told me they were like just full on gritted teeth, like fucking,
Well, they've got two guitar players now rocking Sweden. So they have these twin guitar leads going on, which really adds something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course,
I like that.
The captain on drums, of course.
Yeah, of course. Who else? I've had some fun times with him, mate. I tell you, blimey, he's a one. He's a good guy. Actually, he's a really, really, really nice guy.
Yeah. Anything else? Any Randy and Barney? Any good new music you've been picked up recently in the hardcore or punk vein?
Not too much, actually, mate. I wouldn't say. Me personally, I've just been a bit. I've been gallivanting about so much, just haven't had time to really think about anything of that nature.
When you get a chance, do listen to the EP I sent you, but hey.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you sent to Barney, right? Thirsty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which,
the
Mike, I
thirsty
need to
thing.
get you that EP as well. My
Yeah.
apologies for not getting it out. Moving and life and shit. But, and Mike, give me your shirt size. You what, extra large? XX large?
XXL.
Okay. Next time we make shirts.
All right.
For right now, an EP. But yeah. For me, like new music, I've been listening to a little bit more off of Irish Voodoo Records from California. They've been doing a lot of my hometown bands, and Pure Heel and Pissing Match are two bands I recommend both of you check out. Pissing
Will
Match
do.
is like kind of almost lack of interest, kind of like fast hardcore
Oh,
style.
right.
And Pure Heel is, I mean, typical New York hardcore-ish, but just fun kind of lyrics, bit of wrestling here and there, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Both those bands for me have been really, really good.
Good recommendation. I shall write that down on the back of my hand with a pen.
Yeah, I got a couple. I've got a few as well. You know, Nick Turner passed away too, right? Recently, Nick Turner.
Oh, he did? I'd never even heard about that. No.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but that was a very sad day as well. You know, that was just a couple of weeks ago.
God, mate,
Yeah.
Hawkwind, fucking hell, that was a band. Oh, mate,
Yeah,
superb.
but I've got a recommendation for everyone watching, because I don't know, probably if not, you know, I'd never bothered to check out his solo stuff, you know, in the 90s or the 2000s.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, Jesus Christ!
I think
if you
I
like
know.
classic era Hawkwind,
Yeah, I know that album. Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
it's amazing. Nicky Garrett from the UK subs plays guitar. on it.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, yeah.
Mate, I love all that kind of psychedelic sort of, you know, experimental kind of stuff. It's great, you know.
Yeah, I mean, this
much like probably what Randy was talking about, you know, sort of stuff.
Actually, this is a little bit connected. Actually, talking about the psychedelic stuff, this is like a band I didn't really like the other stuff they put out, but this one, Off.
Oh, right, yeah.
Free LSD. This
Yeah.
has got like all like jams and like free jazz sax and all sorts going on it.
Mate, it's weird how they were one of those sort of, oh yeah, this is another band doing a split kind of thing, and then all of a sudden they kind of exploded. You know what I mean? And now that like, apparently when they play, they draw tons of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that is a really, really good record, I've got to say, from this year. You know.
Did you see? I mean, I'm not one to really be that blown away by videos generally of bands. You know, I think musicians are great at making music sometimes, but they think they're like video directors and they're really not. Do you know what I mean? You know. But have you seen that Off video with the Metallica cover? Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, mate, you should check it out. It's fucking brilliant. You know what I mean? Really good.
Yeah, that was my biggest surprise of the year, that one.
Yeah.
I got a couple more to show everyone. This is a good one. Doesn't really, it's like a blob of, but it's this Rigorous Institution from Portland. They sound like the Amoebics, like old Amoebics.
Right. Sounds good to me. But, yeah.
Good band, but they've got a bit of that Dark Throne thing going on as well. But they're basically a Portland band.
Yeah.
Amoebics.
Yeah, like that. I guess it became a cliche, but they used to, what was it? The Pacific something or other it used to get called. I can't remember. Pacific. I don't know, whatever it was.
Not like a stadium crust. That was a thing.
Yeah, or something like whatever. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's stadium hardcore now, isn't there?
Is that?
Stadium hardcore, like Turnstile, isn't that stadium hardcore?
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. I don't mind them actually.
Yeah.
And then this is one that I think all of us would appreciate. This band.
I don't know that.
Based in Austria.
Okay.
They just were playing. They played with Death Side went to Austria recently. But like, really ferocious. Uridosa in mun sin Incendicia.
That's like a Latin
Yeah.
pronunciation. Ruidosa im. Right, got it. Right, I'll check that
This
out.
This is a good one.
I trust your recommendation.
At least once.
Mate, I'm wondering, you were talking about having a new bathroom put in, with all that. I'm wondering how long the structure's going to last around your living room, because
with all this stuff?
I've seen a few collections, but you're getting stuff every day, pretty much, I think.
Well, you're looking at the biggest ELO collection on the planet, mate.
Yeah, which we spoke about before. Yeah.
No, I think it's pretty sturdy. It's pretty. I mean, it's not like I don't have anything else in here, just the records.
Yeah.
That
Mate, I had to stop. I had to stop years ago in really dedicated collecting, because I just couldn't do it. I didn't have the money or the space. You know what I mean? So
I don't either.
You don't either, no? Yeah.
That's why I like to keep up with the new releases a lot as well.
Of course, there's always something interesting to be found out there. Perhaps it could be argued a smaller percentage, of really interesting stuff, because, of course, subjectively, as time goes on, and you're continually exposed, it's not going to be as much of a novelty, perhaps, as it, was at certain points. But, there's always one gem in the rough, isn't there, here and there. So
yeah.
Well, I think that's the balance of what you can get streaming versus what you can get on actual vinyl, right? So there's things that you really, really want. And of course you want to support the bands you love, so you do everything you can to support them. It might be go see the gig rather than buy the record, but to expose yourself to more and more music, especially as anybody who's making music, you need to expose yourself to more. It's nice to have that option of just streaming and or download and or YouTube, whatever it is, to hear it. But the stuff that you want to listen to every day over and over again, it's great to have. Maybe not Mike's collection per se, but
yeah.
But you want to be listening to the Super Trump and the Doobie Brothers and all that.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't, just get married and stuff, I'd probably in the next 5 years have the same as you. So don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, it is regrettable a little bit, but mate, I can't do it. I just don't have the fucking space.
Well, it has got really silly these days. Just the price of the older records,
right?
Yeah,
the old hardcore records, just unbelievable,
I mean, I'm actually gonna at some point. I'm probably going to. Not sell any stuff from other bands, some old classics that I've got, but I've got some Napalm stuff that's probably quite sought after, but I'll just sell it at a set price. I'm not going to profiteer off it. Do you know what I mean? I'll just do that, because I guess everybody's got to make their own choices, but it's like I'm not. I was trying to ensure that Napalm doesn't like profiteer, to the kind of levels that we're to, well, at all, really, if I'm honest. But so then it follows that I'm also not going to do it on a personal level. Do you know what I mean? So put it out there and see what happens. But just do it for set a ceiling on it so it doesn't get fucking stupid. I mean, I don't expect people to be paying, just for argument's sake, £100, or whatever for a Napalm album, or if there even is that sort of value on them, I don't want that.
What do you think about the earache on demand thing that they've been doing recently? Did you know about that?
Didn't know anything about it, mate.
You didn't know anything about it?
No.
Is that the release of Fear, Emptiness, Despair as well?
It's not only Napalm, but what they're doing is they're putting up what they'll do is they'll put up 6 titles that have been maybe out of print for a while, and if you want these back in print, then like donate to this like crowdfunding type thing that they've got, and then they'll post, okay, this one has reached the target, we're repressing this one. And they've actually just done that. They've just done that with, isn't it, Fear, Emptiness, and Despair? And I think maybe Inside the Torn Apart as well.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Actually, I don't mind that in concept, as long as it doesn't get stupid like a bidding war, you know, and people, because I don't expect people to pay fucking stupid amounts of money, you know.
No, I think what it all is people donate, and then once they reach the amount of money they need to press it, then they just go and press the record. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and I suppose if you donate, you get a copy of it, do you, or something? Or
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, you would hope so. You know, I don't expect people to bankroll fucking, you know.
But that was something that just like came out of left field all of a sudden. It's like earache on demand. Yeah.
I will say this, you know, with ever diminishing returns, you know, on vinyl and stuff, I guess for record labels to start doing, because if they're going to repress them, they've got to do minimum print runs and press runs. You know, you can't sort of do 10 unless you're a very small, like one man sort of operation or one person operation or whatever. You know, you can't sort of be doing just 10 copies here and that, because the setup costs and stuff like that is actually really expensive. Do you know what I mean? So I get that, you know what I mean? But obviously keep it fair, you know, don't let it go out of control, you know, and into like profiteering, you know.
I think, isn't it Words from the Exit Wound is the only Napalm record that's not been released on vinyl yet?
Mate, I wouldn't have. You'd know better than me. You know, you would.
That might be one of the ones that people keep saying they want that, and they want Cathedral End Time or something like that.
Right,
it's never been released on vinyl before.
Right.
Do that. Do those if you're going to do something, kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess, you know. I bloody lose track, mate, if I'm honest. You know, I'll lose track of
vinyl prices have gone way high, haven't they?
It's
like not even like used records, as Mike, as you were saying. I've been just blown away, like seeing $300 records that are like, really? This $300 records were rare. Like the crazy rare kind of like the Judge Chunking was $600-$700, like if you could find it. Now, you know, walk into a used record store and Guar's Scumdog's original press is $200. Like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great record. It's an amazing record, but really, that kind of feeling.
Well, I like the cheap stuff, the cheap bins, you know, the bargains, the stuff that people, it's not fashionable, you know, some Finnish hardcore band that nobody cares about from like 1998 or something. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's what I like, that kind of thing, you know, when I buy
and why not, you know what I mean? Yeah. I just think, you know, it's like everything else. It's been allowed to, market forces have been allowed to, you know, really sort of dictate, you know, with that stuff. And it leaves a bad taste, I think, you know, for me.
Well,
personally.
I mean, Discogs, things like that has kind of taken a lot of the fun out of record collecting, you know.
Yeah.
This goes to the highest bidder, you know.
Yeah.
It goes into pressing records as well. I pressed my own band record and it cost me way more than I expected for an EP. I remember the days of you could sell a record wholesale for like $2.50.
Yeah.
Whereas that's completely out the door now.
Yeah, that's why we don't. That's why when Napalm goes on tour, we don't always buy. We'll look at the wholesale prices of what we're getting our own albums for, you know, and if the wholesale price is too high, we just don't take them, because I'm not gonna be pleased with putting albums on out there on the table and selling them for just way beyond what I think people should pay, who have already paid for a gig ticket, you know, and all the rest of it. You know, I just find that kind of counterproductive, I suppose, is a kind way of putting it, you know.
Well, I really hope we're all going to meet up next year, either at Randy's wedding or at a
Yeah.
Napalm gig.
See, now I've seen Randy's face. It's going to give me extra impetus, to
Yeah,
get
put a
on
little fire under
get
your
on
ass.
that bloody thing. Yeah, but mate, just while we're on here, I mean, I was thinking if I can swing it like maybe mid Jan or something like that, after Golden Week and all that, sort of around the 10th, maybe, or something like that. Would that kind of suit you if I sort of came around
Yeah,
that point?
just let me know. Send me a message. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Whenever is good, please, by all means. So.
All right, mate. Nice one. Be great. I so miss it. Oh well, I miss. I don't mind being soft and saying I miss you. I mean, miss Japan. I miss everything, man.
Yeah.
So.
No, it'd definitely be good to just like actually do this conversation in person with everybody.
Yeah.
In Mike's crazy ass record room.
Yeah, that'd be good, mate. Yeah, we should do a live one
with a couple of beers. And it'd be fucking fun. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, hanging out in Osaka, that'd be good. Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Great.
Definitely. Or Mike, you just come to Tokyo.
Yeah.
I can do that. Yeah.
That's always one thing. There's just a similar thing to the UK. Sometimes it tends to be with places like London or Birmingham or whatever. Oh yeah, I'm doing something about half hour down the road. Come and see me. Oh no, it's too far. And when I've been in Japan, people from Osaka. Oh, we're doing something in Tokyo. With friends. You want to come? It's a couple of nights. Oh no, too far. Yeah.
I've got used to it. Like when when I lived in Bath, I used to think going to Bristol was like, a huge trek to go and see a gig in Bristol.
Yeah.
But since I've been living here, it's just like, not a problem.
Mate, one word for you, and you'll remember this: hitchhiking. From back in the day.
Jesus Christ, the amount of times that I hitchhiked to fucking Nottingham to a gig that never happened, waiting outside the thing.
Mate, let me tell you, Antisect made me weep many times, hitchhiking with friends to Antisect gigs that were happening until 8 minutes before the doors were due to open. Do you know what I mean?
You get there, and there'll be the sort of poster, and then there's like, well, there's sort of nobody here yet.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll hang on a little bit. I'm sure everyone will be here in a minute, and then
no, not happening. And then a handwritten small note, like sellotape to the door.
Yes, sorry, Antisect van broke down in Oxford, not coming.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess the challenge is Barney and I hitchhike down to Osaka to hang out with Mike and do this again.
Yeah. Is hitchhiking a thing in Japan? I wouldn't have thought it would be like a
Yes,
culture.
it is.
It is.
It is. Right. I'm surprised, actually.
Yeah. I've never actually done it. I should do it.
Yeah.
We should do it
that's
together.
What we should do.
Try and hitchhike
we should do a podcast special of us, three of us hitchhiking, up to Sendai or something,
Up to like Sapporo.
Yeah.
But on the upside of it, there are cheap options of trains too. I did 2010, 2011. Friend and I took a train to Sapporo and back over 5 days, like going up there, going back, hanging out in Sapporo for 3 days. It was like 10,000 yen return.
Yeah.
It was cheap.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, there are those options if you're willing to spend a day, like literally 24 hours on the train.
Mate, I'll fucking do it. It's an experience. Do you know what I mean?
It's a thing you get. What's it called? Oh, it's like you get like 11 tickets. You can take any local train.
Yeah, the Juhachi Kip there's that one. But I bought the Higashi Nihon Pass, which is the East Japan Pass that was from Tokyo all the way up to Hokkaido. And it was a 5-day. So the Juhachi Kip, the 18-year-old ticket, basically, like, you're graduated from high school and or just returned to college ticket. You could use that whenever you want. So over 3 months or whatever, you can kind of interchange when you're going to use each ticket. You get 5 tickets for, I think it was less than each month. It's pretty cheap. But the going up to Hokkaido was a one-way pass. That's it. And it was 5 days. You had to use it. Still, it was great.
Local.
It was a crazy trip up there. I woke up hungover as hell, played a gig the day before, barely made my train, drank the whole way up there. And then we got to Sapporo, just like hanging out, having a good time. And on the way back, it's like, okay, yeah, this sucks now.
Yeah. On the way back, definitely. It's always the coming back down the hill thing.
No, it was the same. It was the same 24-hour train back, and it was just like, we're not there yet. Oh fuck, we're not there yet. Oh fuck, we're not there yet. Whereas on the way, like, oh, we're not there yet, but who cares? We're just drinking.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah,
all
we
right.
definitely. Oh yeah.
Go on.
Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. Because I've got this craving to go and like get in my new bathtub.
Mate, I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Is there a record
Mate,
player in the bathtub?
I'd be doing a round trip of the bathroom, man. I'd be on the pan, into the shower, back out again. You know.
But on that
See,
bombshell,
in my bathroom, you can use the toilet and the shower at the same time because there's no shower. It's one of them wet rooms. Do you know what I mean? So you could actually.
Yep. That's
all in one.
Japanese style, right?
But this is all open, so there's no cubicle. It's just
bloody hell.
Like kind of the Eastern Europe has a lot of those kind of things, you know, like open bathrooms, you know.
Wow.
You learn something, you know.
I'm just trying to imagine. I'm imagining.
Yeah.
No. All right, I think we're going to wrap this up now, and
Cool.
Great stuff.
We'll carry on chatting after I shut the camera off a little bit. So, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks, Barney,
Lovely.
for joining us again. It's lovely to talk to you, man.
Cheers. Nice one.
Yeah. Until next time.
Yeah.
Stay healthy.
Yeah.
Stay clean.